Wars have dominated the last 2 years in geopolitics, and it's not changing anytime soon. In fact, a new conflict could be brewing, this time in outer space, where great powers of the world are locking horns. Yesterday, there was a vote at the United Nations. The US and Japan had moved a resolution. They wanted nuclear weapons to be banned in space. But Russia shot down the idea. They vetoed the resolution, and they attacked the West.
Today, our council is once again being involved in a dirty spectacle prepared by the US and Japan. This is a cynical ploy. We are being tricked.
With that statement, Russia exercised its veto power. It blocked the ban on nukes in space. Now, there are 15 members who could vote. 13 countries supported the idea. Russia opposed it and China abstained. Now, since Russia is a permanent member, its veto power killed the resolution. It did not pass. And why is this significant? Because the fallout will be far-reaching. It could trigger an arms race in space. In fact, it may have already started. Russia is thinking about putting a nuke in space. This is according to Western intelligence, so do take it with a sack of salt. They say Russia will have a nuclear weapon in space, an anti-satellite weapon. Perhaps that's why they moved the United Nations to prevent Moscow from deploying this weapon.
We are not talking about a weapon that can be used to attack human beings or cause physical destruction here on Earth. Any anti-satellite capability should be of general concern.
Satellites are the new strategic assets. From governments to people, everyone needs satellites. Governments rely on them to secure communications. Militaries need them for intelligence gathering, and we need them for all our modern gadgets. From our phone calls to GPS services, satellites enable all kinds of activity and connectivity. A crippling blow can knock out all of this. And that's the capability Russia is said to be chasing. But how will this weapon be different from the ones that already exist? 4 countries already have anti-satellite weapons. Russia, the United States, China, and India. They already have anti-satellite weapons. So how will a nuclear version be different? The current ones can only strike one satellite at a time. A nuclear weapon can strike multiple satellites at once. And such an attack would be crippling. An entire communication network can be taken out with a single strike, and the US is convinced that Russia is pursuing this nuclear weapon.
President Putin himself has said publicly that Russia has no intention of deploying nuclear weapons in space. Why, if you are following the rules, would you not support a resolution that reaffirms them? What could you possibly be hiding?
What is she referring to? A statement by President Vladimir Putin. He spoke about this in February. The Russian president rubbished Western claims. He said Moscow has no plans to launch nukes in space.
We have always been categorically opposed to putting nuclear weapons in space, and we continue to do so.
Has Putin changed his mind now? Russia says it maintains the same position. It wants no weapons of any kind in space. How about striking targets in space from the Earth? Well, that cannot be ruled out. In 2022, Russia launched a cyber attack. It targeted Ukraine. This was just before Russian forces attacked Kiev. The hackers were successful. They took out thousands of internet modems. What if Ukraine's military was on target instead? Imagine a scenario where a Ukrainian soldier is guarding a post on the border. Now, these soldiers see Russian soldiers approaching. They need reinforcements. So they pick up their satellite phones to call their base, but the phones don't work. No connectivity, no network, because military satellites have been attacked. Do you know what that means? Ukrainian soldiers become sitting ducks. And while this scenario, this story is hypothetical, it is also a very real possibility. Russia is testing warfare tools designed to sabotage the Starlink satellites. This is a satellite-based internet service, Starlink. Elon Musk is the brain behind it. Ukraine's forces rely on Starlink for battleground communications. So space warfare is now a reality. It's already here. Countries like Russia are pursuing not just a single weapon, but a range of capabilities, from cyber attacks to anti-satellite weapons, and now perhaps nuclear weapons in space. This is the beginning of a new arms race.